Have you ever wanted to know how to say the word devil in Italian? Well, it's Diavola. And today we're going to talk about the book Diavola by Jennifer Thorne. Now, this author also wrote the book Loot, which I have not read, and I really liked this one, so I may have to look into getting that one in the future. So this book, it's about a family, the Paces, and they all take a lovely vacation to Italy. And they stay at this place. It's a 600-year-old farmhouse called Villa Taccola. And when they get there, the caregiver welcomes them to the house and apparently tells them there's this tower room. Don't unlock or go in the tower. I mean, come on, what happens when you tell people that? Someone's gonna want to go in there. Obviously. So it follows the main character. Her name is Anna. She has a twin brother, Benny. Her sister Nicole is there with her husband, Justin, and their two kids, Waverly and Mia, and then the parents as well. And Anna is the only one that speaks Italian, so she translates for everyone when they go out into town and do all that stuff. Oh, and Benny's boyfriend comes too. He is also there, and he seems like kind of a snooty, snobbity, I don't know. Snooty, snobbity, snoots. Anna doesn't really like him, and then the boyfriend doesn't really like her, and so you got that kind of vibe going on. Anna, because families are annoying, right? Everybody from the family getting together, going on a vacation. She's like 34, so the kids are older. Obviously, her sister has kids of her own and whatnot. And so she goes a couple days in advance, so she doesn't have to travel with the family, just have a couple days to like decompress and relax before everybody gets there. She meets up with them. Everyone's already settled into the house, so she goes in there. She comes in, no one's in the house at first, and she thinks she sees someone up in the tower when she first arrives. Like she sees a curtain go to the side, and she's like, oh man, I missed out on like claiming probably the best room in the house, the tower. And she doesn't know that they've been told to like not go in the tower yet. And so she goes in, and she just chooses this little small room off the front because that seems to be what's left. And everyone's out back by the pool, and there's all these like cats everywhere around the property. And what's weird too, though, is all the plant life around is like dead. The ground is all kind of like brown, and stuff within the vicinity of the house seems there's no life around it. And then the house too, there was a big addition built onto it. So like on top of like all the original old farmhouse stuff, there's this like big addition in the back that looks out onto the patio and the pool. She goes out there and says hi to the family, and everyone's all like, oh, you're finally here, blah, 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 blah. And it seems like her family always gives her a lot of crap. And they also seem to like to place all the blame on her. Stuff goes wrong on like past vacations and this, that, and the other. And, you know, it's not the greatest thing. They're not so nice. But, you know, it's family, so what can you do, right? And so she goes there and she's like, is anyone still in the house? They're like, nope, everyone's out here, this, that, and the other. She's like, huh. So she's like, I must have just imagined whatever it was I saw up in the tower. You know, she goes in the pool, plays with the girls a little bit, and everybody, they end up going back into the house. And the first days, everything seems pretty okay. That first night, she has a weird dream about this like hot dude that's in her room, just looking out the window, very attractive, not wearing a shirt, and she's like, all right. But she also, I think it's the first night, hears kids running around past her door. She thinks it's like the girls, but then later on she realizes they were speaking in Italian, so how could it be the girls? And she just kind of writes it off as like, oh, you know, half asleep, whatever. You know, maybe I dreamed it. I must have dreamt it. Stuff just starts to get weirder and weirder. Doors close. Anna starts sometimes seeing things like she had gone outside and then came back in, and there was like this red puddle on the floor. And they're in Italy, so they're drinking a bunch of wine, right? And so she sees it and she's like, oh, probably wine on the floor, but then looks over here. But then when she looks back, puddle's gone. And so that's weird. And as things progress, seems like some people have maybe been pushed by entities, but then, you know, blaming it on something else. And at one point in time, Christopher, who, as Benny's boyfriend, becomes so focused on the tower and is like, I want to open it. I want to go in there. I want to see what it's about. And they're like, no, 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 you shouldn't do it. Then one night, too, Anna hears like scratching from the inside of the tower. And she's like, oh, it must be one of those cats, because all those cats were around the place. They open the door and they go up there, and bad vibes and bad energy all around just seems to happen. And once that door and tower has been opened, it seems like the house now has unleashed something even more, because there was a presence before, but it was almost like that presence was like pushing them towards opening that door. Stuff is weird, like the town folks might seem to know what's going on. And Anna also is an artist, and so she'll draw sketches and stuff, and she ends up like drawing some sketches that were super weird. And at one point in time too, she also thinks she sees like two people laying face down in the pool. Her brother ends up getting mad at her, so at some point she's trying to like talk to about all the weird crap happening, and that it seems like it might be dangerous for him to stay here any longer, and none of them believe her and refuse to believe any of it's true, even though some of them have like seen it with their own eyes, the family just being a bunch of a-holes, and refuse to believe it. And so it does hit a point where everything, like the crap hits the fan and stuff happens. Then maybe one of the other characters does see this ghost, La Dama Bianca. It's creepy and scary and weird, and I loved it, and I would highly recommend it if you like haunted houses, especially if you like atmospheric, super atmospheric writing. I loved it, especially like the setting being in Italy. There's one other setting in the book too that comes into it. This author, really, the way that she writes is fantastic. I love an atmospheric writer that can put you into like that place and time, and you feel it, and you feel that like creeping dread as it gets like scarier and scarier, and the frustrations, like you feel the frustrations of the main character, how her family is just a bunch of a-holes who don't want to blame their own problems on themselves. They have to pile it all on her too. And so you got that going on. And not only do you have like ghosts and haunting and possible danger, you have like the weight of, you know, the family trying to put all their transgressions on her as well, and the emotional baggage of that. So like her dealing with that as well and what happens. And I had a lot of fun with it. Gothic haunted house in Italy. Yes. So good. So if you like haunted houses that are very atmospheric, Diavola by Jennifer Thorne might just be for you. And if you had fun hanging out today, hit that subscribe button, come back, see me again, and we'll talk about more bookish things and weird stuff.